We have lots of, reports to back this up. In your opinion, what can be instrumental in busting these sort of wrong and harmful assumptions about motherhood, but also about women in the workplace who are mothers?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of that also goes back to your earlier question, where the more men that take parental leave, that also sort of leads to a leveling of the playing field. But also, I hear you around, how do we change those perceptions? So I think, again, having think tanks talking about the motherhood penalty is one way. But I've also seen, for example, employers take really interesting approaches. So for example, I've seen employers approach organizations such as the YWCA or the YMCA and ask a local NGO to provide on-site childcare services. So not only does it help with their, keeping employees and helping them become a good employer for all of their employees, irrespective of whether they're, mothers or fathers, but really sort of building in that holistic community corporate social responsibility into their operations. And again, that ultimately benefits their bottom line, because when you have both men, women, and gender diverse employees feeling like, yeah, this employer really cares about the family, really cares about the community. Ultimately, that basically helps shift the culture, and also helps the myth busting. I was the executive director of Newcomer Women's Services Toronto for many years, and my favorite part of the program, and former colleagues know this, is we had our English as a second language school on the fourth floor, our Link school, but then we had the care for newcomer kids on the second floor. And each day at lunch break, the mums would go downstairs and have lunch with the kids and then read a story. The kids would go to nap time and the mums would go back to class. And this is a model where basically you have where this model is actually being studied by other countries to help newcomers access the labor market. And ultimately that narrows the pay gap between immigrant and refugee women and Canadian born women. So there's a variety of models we can use to really kind of get at that motherhood penalty and kind of myth bust and also disrupt the stigma and disrupt the status quo.
This conversation is part of a series produced by the Pay Equity Commission of Ontario to examine economics, equity, women work, and money. Episodes can be found on www.leveltheplayingfield.ca, on the YouTube channel of Ontario Pay Equity Office, and wherever you download your podcasts. Please share this episode on your social platforms so we can elevate the equity conversation.